Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the incredibly powerful Hurricane Milton, a storm that's been making headlines across the world. This hurricane has grown into one of the most intense and destructive storms we've seen in recent years. It all started in early October 2024 when Milton formed as a tropical depression in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. By the very next day, this storm began to rapidly intensify. Within just 24 hours, it transformed into a Category 5 hurricane, something meteorologists call explosive intensification. This rapid escalation was fueled by highly favorable conditions. We're talking about extremely warm sea surface temperatures, around 31 degrees Celsius or 88 degrees Fahrenheit, along with very low wind shear and high humidity. These conditions provided the perfect environment for Hurricane Milton to build up strength. At its peak on October 8th, it reached winds of 180 miles per hour, with a central pressure of 897 millibars, making it the fifth most intense Atlantic hurricane on record. What's really shocking is the speed at which this storm strengthened. Milton's pressure dropped dramatically by 84 millibars within a single day. It's a reminder of just how quickly these storms can become life-threatening. As Hurricane Milton barreled toward Florida, it underwent what's known as an eye wall replacement cycle. Now, for those unfamiliar, this is a process where a hurricane temporarily weakens before reorganizing itself. Milton went through this cycle, weakening to Category 4, but soon after it regained its strength, reaching Category 5 again. By October 9th, the storm made landfall near Siesta Key, Florida, but had weakened slightly to Category 3, with winds of around 120 miles per hour. Even though it had weakened, the damage was severe. Tampa, Sarasota, and the surrounding areas faced the brunt of the storm, with widespread flooding, wind damage, and a dangerous storm surge. Streets turned into rivers, and homes and buildings were either flooded or torn apart by the strong winds. The storm surge alone reached up to 10 feet in some places, making it difficult for residents to evacuate in time. Emergency services were overwhelmed, and it's estimated that over 2.5 million people were left without power across the affected regions. As the storm continued, federal and state authorities, including FEMA and the National Guard, were mobilized to support rescue and recovery efforts. Temporary shelters have been set up in schools, community centers, and even sports arenas to accommodate those displaced by the hurricane. In Florida alone, early estimates suggest damages could run into billions of dollars. The state is working on clearing roads, restoring power, and providing immediate relief to residents. For many, though, the road to recovery will be a long one. But the impact of Hurricane Milton didn't stop in Florida. The storm's outer bands had already affected parts of Mexico. Coastal areas, especially in the Yucatan Peninsula, experienced heavy rainfall and strong winds. Cancun and nearby regions were put on high alert, with authorities issuing evacuation orders as a precaution. While the worst damage occurred in the U.S., Mexico faced its own share of challenges, with flash flooding and strong winds disrupting local communities. One of the most tragic outcomes of Hurricane Milton has been the loss of life. Reports confirm 17 fatalities so far, 16 in the U.S. and 1 in Mexico. Many of these deaths occurred as a result of flooding, fallen trees, and collapsed buildings. Rescue workers are still combing through affected areas to search for survivors, and as the waters recede, more victims may be found. Our thoughts go out to everyone affected by this devastating storm. While the storm has weakened and moved off into the Atlantic Ocean, we're still feeling its aftereffects. As of October 10th, Hurricane Milton transitioned into an extratropical storm, but it remains a Category 1 hurricane for now. Meteorologists are closely tracking its movements, especially as it heads toward the northeastern United States and potentially parts of Canada. Coastal residents there have been advised to stay alert and prepare for possible flooding and high winds. One of the questions everyone is asking is, why are we seeing such powerful hurricanes like Milton more frequently? The answer, in part, lies in climate change. Rising sea temperatures are giving storms more fuel, making them not only stronger, but also more unpredictable. We've seen this pattern with other recent storms, but Milton's rapid intensification is a stark reminder of how dangerous these conditions can be. With warmer waters and favorable atmospheric conditions, storms like Milton are likely to become more common. posing greater risks to coastal communities. Now, if you live in an area prone to hurricanes, it's crucial to be prepared. The damage caused by Milton shows that even a few hours of delay in responding can have severe consequences. Stock up on supplies, have an evacuation plan, and stay tuned to your local weather alerts. If officials advise you to evacuate, don't hesitate. Your safety is the most important thing. The devastation caused by Hurricane Milton will take a long time to repair. In Florida, entire neighborhoods are underwater, and thousands of families have lost their homes. The recovery efforts will be ongoing for months, if not years. Aid is already pouring in, both from within the United States and internationally. Countries like Canada and the UK have offered to send aid workers, and local charities are stepping up to help those in need. But while the focus is on rebuilding, we can't ignore the long-term lessons of Hurricane Milton. In the future, we need to be better prepared for storms of this magnitude. Investing in better infrastructure, early warning systems, and disaster preparedness can make all the difference when the next big hurricane hits. We've seen time and time again that hurricanes don't just destroy buildings, they disrupt lives, uproot communities, and leave scars that last for generations. So what can we learn from Hurricane Milton? First and foremost, we need to take climate change seriously. It's no longer a distant threat, it's happening right now. The rise in global temperatures is making hurricanes more dangerous, and if we don't act soon, we're going to see even worse storms in the future. Secondly, we need to ensure that people are educated and prepared for natural disasters. It's vital that communities know how to react, what to do, and where to go when the next hurricane arrives. Thanks for sticking with us through this deep dive into Hurricane Milton. This storm will go down in history as one of the most intense and destructive of our time. But we hope that by learning from it, we can better protect ourselves in the future. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on the latest storms, weather events, and how we can stay prepared. Stay safe out there.